Hi, my name is Senga Lindsay. I'm a landscape architect here in North Vancouver. It's early April, and today I'm going to show you how to prune your kiwi vines. This is a hardy kiwi that is capable of surviving in colder temperatures such as Toronto or Vancouver. The typical kiwi fruits you buy in the grocery store are different species. They're not hardy to this area. The fruits are about twice the size that these ones will produce. This is called an Arctic kiwi fruit. It is called Actinidea arguta. The thing with kiwis too that you need to know is that they are a dioecious plant, which means that you need a male and a female plant, the male to pollinate the female, and this is a female that I'm standing in front of right now, in order to produce fruit. So I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to cruise over here and show you where we planted the male. And this is the male here. You can see its habit is a bit different. It's a little more twiggier. This one actually is an Actinidea cocomitea, and that is a variegated kiwi vine. It's often used as an ornamental as well, but it can also be used for pollination, so the different species can cross-pollinate each other. You need to have your male vine within 20 feet of any females in order to get successful pollination, just as a tip. And I'll show you how to prune this in a few moments. So getting back to our female kiwi vine, what you see here, I'll just point out these, are the fruiting spurs. They're very similar to the spurs that you get on a fruit tree. Kiwi vines will fruit on their new wood. This is actually last year's growth wood, and these are the fruiting spurs where the little kiwi fruits will be produced from. So when you first start out training your kiwi, you want to make sure that you stick to one major trunk or vine. You want to train it up the wall. This is the wall of my house, by the way. And then what you want to do is you want to create a framework where you have laterals, and these are the laterals, or they're also called cordons, which are similar to the laterals in a grapevine plant. So you want to stick to some very basic framework, because as you can see, this plant gets so crazy out of control that if you just let it go rampant and you don't sort of stick to some main laterals, you'll end up with a tangled mess eventually, and you'll never be able to sort through it. And plus, this is on the side of the house, so I want to have a more neat, tidier look to my plants. So what you need to do is judiciously keep pruning this kiwi, not only first thing in the spring before the sap really flows on these guys, because they will bleed out if you prune them after they activate in their growth too vigorously. And you also want to do some maintenance pruning during the summer as well. So I'll just quickly go through what to look for. So we've got a lateral here with a fruiting spur right there. At this point, I don't want this lateral. Remember, every time you cut a lateral, new shoots will come out, and the vine will start growing into a great big whippy length like this. Unless you want to encourage that kind of growth, maybe keep continuing this vine along the wall. You want to not encourage a lot of this lateral growth too much. So that's where you would nip your lateral right off behind the fruiting spur. And that's the rule of thumb. You just sort of locate where all your fruiting spurs are, and you start nipping them off your laterals to keep them tidy. So what will happen here is that this fruiting spur will have some kiwis this year, and then it'll exhaust itself. Then you'll get new branches coming out. If you want to let it continue growing, let it continue growing, and then you'll have new fruiting spurs on your next year's growth or lateral. Or you could just keep nipping it back to all the new fruiting spurs that eventually come on the main lateral. That's just an easy way of managing this. This here is a bit of a crazy lateral that's sticking out from this branch, so I, for aesthetic reasons and for tidy reasons, there's no fruiting spurs on it, I want to just get rid of it. As you can see, this is last year's growth, and you can see how huge it is. So that's the ticket. You just keep looking for laterals, and if there are none, say for example on this one here, how this one crosses over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lateral here, and I'm going to train it over this one here that's crossing. I can see it eventually being quite the mess. Here's a fruiting spur on that lateral. That's where I'm going to prune it off, so I'll at least get some fruit there. Take off this main branch. And then I will hook this branch on there and start training it across. Oops. Broke it a little bit, but that's okay, it'll mend itself. And then what I'll do is I'll nip it off here so that we'll get new shoots and new fruiting spurs will result there. So this is the way you tidy up and clean up a kiwi vine. And then you just keep going on through and through, taking out branches that don't have any fruiting spurs. This one has a whole mess load of them all along here. So I want to take out this messy one here that isn't doing anything at this point. Allow this one to fruit. Nip them off right in front of the fruiting spur like that. And then next year, once we'll have a shoot here, these will exhaust themselves, and then we can train that lateral on and on and on, which will in turn produce more fruiting spurs. So that's how you prune a female kiwi vine. Now for the males, you can be a little more aggressive because they are actually more aggressive when they grow and much more twiggy. And these guys will flower. What you want to do is you want to, again, trim these up so they don't get too out of control. Every time you make a cut, you'll encourage new shoots. And for the male kiwi plant, that will in turn create lots of flowers for pollination. So with the kiwi vines, for the males, all you have to do is get much more aggressive. As you can see, this one's wrapped right around the house. And you can cut them fairly low to the ground. They'll just shoot up, produce masses of flowers, and once they're exhausted, you can trim them back again, and then they will shoot up again and produce more flowers right away. So, hope you learned a little bit today about pruning kiwi vines. I've done a lot of research. It can be very complicated, but the key things are, to recap, are this. Create a main stem, train your laterals, look for your fruiting spurs, and you just want to create laterals with fruiting spurs on them, and then when you prune them, you want to prune them right in front of the fruiting spurs. When the fruiting spurs are exhausted, then you want to just nip them back closer and closer to the main stem, create new shoots so that you'll get more fruiting spurs in the future, because kiwis do fruit on first or second year wood. My name's Senga Lindsay. I'm a landscape architect. If you want any more information, please visit my website at www.sengadesigns.com. Thanks for watching.